Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads, where we dig into yarns, patterns, and all of the fibery goodness that makes our creative hearts happy. Today we're talking about something I didn't think would be so tricky: summer yarns. Last summer, we spent months on the hunt for those perfect summer yarns, something breathable, beautiful, and a joy to knit or crochet with when it's 85 degrees outside. And well, the truth is, we didn't find many that we loved. We did have two top favorites, and we'll tell you all about those in a second, but here's the catch. They're both discontinued. Yep, gone, yarn, heartbreak. So today's video is part nostalgia, part mini review, and part call for help. We're kicking off our 2025 summer yarn search, and we want your help in finding the next best thing. Full reviews for each of these yarns are linked in the description below. Let's start with our top two summer yarn picks last year: K+C Essential Cotton and Stylecraft Naturals Organic Cotton. K+C Essential Cotton. This one was our very first summer yarn to review last year, and it kind of set a high standard to beat. I like to call this yarn "I can't believe it's cotton" because of how soft it is. It's like the Merino of cotton yarns. I don't know exactly what type of 100% cotton it is. It has to be a Pima or an Egyptian, but regardless, I certainly appreciate its softness. It features solid and patterning colorways and was the first cotton that I ever enjoyed working with. It was also the most accessible, being sold at our local Joann fabric and craft store. Yes, I even purchased a baby sweater quantity before our local store closed. And Stylecraft Naturals Organic Cotton. Not quite as soft as Essential Cotton, but still was like butter on my skin and the needles. We considered it an under-the-radar yarn because we've never heard anybody else talk about it, which we think is a shame. I love the large, soft colorway selection it had, and it was our overall top pick because of that, its reasonable cost, and its softness. We do, of course, have a few other yarns that are worth mentioning that we also enjoyed and would work with again, but just weren't our absolute favorites. Cascade Yarns Anchor Bay. So we did a big comparison last summer of three popular cotton merino yarns, two of which are on this list. But this Cascade yarn was actually softer than all three of those. I can't believe I hadn't heard of this 50% cotton, 50% superwash merino wool yarn before, and was happy to stumble upon it because it has a very nice hand. Maybe my mind was tunnel vision to Drops and Sandusgarn, and that's how I somehow missed this one. But we definitely recommend you checking it out if you're looking for a soft and widely available cotton merino blend. The Fibre Co Luma. The first yarn from the Fibre Co that we've reviewed so far. It's a 50% merino wool, 25% organic cotton, 15% linen, 10% silk yarn. A wool yarn may not be the first fiber that comes to mind when you think of warm weather, but it adds a nice amount of softness to the cotton, linen, and silk. It's bouncy, lofty, soft, and I was just itching to cast it on. The addition of the linen, silk, and cotton to the merino made this yarn a pretty ideal year-round fiber to work with. You won't have to worry about getting too warm in the winter, but you'll still stay plenty cool in the summer. West Yorkshire Spinners Elements. We love this brand and was so excited to get to try this shiny, soft, 60% Tinsel lyocell, 40% Falkland Islands wool yarn. Lyocell is a semi-synthetic fiber that's commonly used as a substitute for cotton or silk. It's a form of rayon and is composed primarily of cellulose derived from wood. Falklands Island wool is a mixture of fibers from a few different sheep, including Merino, Corriedale, Romney, and Polwarth. I've never felt a blended yarn quite like this one before. To me, it feels woolly, but it has a cooling hand and just a hint of shine. Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. We've tried nearly all of Knitting for Olive's yarns, and this one might actually be our favorite. It's a 70% cotton, 30% merino wool yarn, and as soon as I felt the skein of the yarn, I could definitely understand the hype for this one. It just feels like a nice quality, even though the cotton merino yarns seem to be difficult to get just right. We were happily surprised with this one. It's not knock your socks off soft, but it's like, wow, this just feels nice and enjoyable. It absolutely would have received a higher score in its review if it was more widely available. Drops Cotton Merino. A more budget-friendly 50% superwash merino wool, 50% cotton yarn. I think it's a pretty good happy medium of softness considering the two fibers. For its appearance, this yarn didn't take on a woolly look, but the merino did give the cotton a noticeable amount of softness and bounce to it. Up close, you can see the different colors that are twisting together to create its unique color as Drops describes. After blocking, we did notice the swatch had a bit of a cooling hand, so you shouldn't have to worry about overheating. And lastly, MillaMia Naturally Soft Cotton. One of the lesser known yarns in our opinion that we reviewed. It looks like your typical 100% cotton yarn. It's matte, has a high twist, and not a lot of bounce unless you use a larger needle size or stitch gauge. But what this yarn does have is a little bit of extra softness rather than a drying feeling, which was great. Yes, lots of yarns do get softer after blocking, and this one did a tiny bit too, but for me to be able to enjoy working with a yarn, especially a cotton yarn, and still get to enjoy it after blocking is something that I love as more of a process knitter. So why was our hunt last year such a struggle? Well, here's what we've been running into. Some of the yarns work up stiff or splitty, some lose all shape after blocking, some are too shiny and too dry or even have too much drape, and others just don't bring me joy, and if it doesn't spark joy, I wouldn't want to work with it again. So this summer we're starting fresh, a blank slate. We're on a quest to discover summer yarns that we truly enjoy and that feel good on your hands, hold up in the heat, and can work up into pieces you'll actually wear. And we want your help. If you found a summer yarn that you love, cotton, linen, bamboo, blends, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. Stick around. Over the next few months, we'll be testing and reviewing some new contenders. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find our new summer staple. If you're into yarn reviews, honest opinions, and the occasional fiber-related rant, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow along as we chase down the best yarn for warm weather projects. Summer stitching should be fun, and we're determined to help you find the best yarn for it. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you next time.